Because this is the what do you call, the the presentation, which will use to discuss the converters, current voltage and voltage to current converter. Because if you see the syllabus, guys, the syllabus, the last part of the third unit as voltage to current with grounded load that we discussed, okay, and current voltage converter, and the basics of voltage to frequency and frequency to voltage converter. Of course, we have discussed current to voltage and voltage to current converter from the textbook pages. Let us look into this, you know, this document also. Just hold on a second. I need to open the board and not sure whether this and right. Yeah. So the basics of current voltage and voltage to current converter. So circuits. Listen, just a second. Just a second. Okay. Okay. This is the. Let me. Yeah. So in instrumentation, devices for analog to analog representation of certain physical quantities, like for example weight, pressure, and motion, and for DC current. Okay, so DC current is preferred. Okay, so what is the purpose of the what is known as DC current? Because DC current, in fact, is necessary for the biasing of the transistors. Okay, the basic intention of the current DC current will be to bias the transistor, whether it can be a BJT transistor or it can be a MOSFET or it can be what you call op amps. Okay? So DC current is a must. For biasing, we cannot go for a AC. So DC current is important. Okay? So thereby there is a necessary for current you know availability, that is voltage to current conversion. So because DC current signals will be a constant throughout the circuit in series from the source to the load. Okay, it's a constant. It's a constant supply anyway. So DC current source. The current sensing instruments also have the advantage of less noise. Okay, the devices which works on the current sensing principle has advantages for the other method of measuring the signal. Okay, because of the less noise. Okay, because the intention is, if it is a AC high frequency signal, this is the point here is, whenever we have a AC, okay, low frequency signal can be a message, but high frequency signal can be a noise. High frequency signal can be a noise. Okay, so thereby if it is a current, there is a, for example, if it is a current, then there is no question of frequency, so no frequency, no noise, with that intention. Okay, so thereby especially in current sensing devices, the current measurement method has a advantage over the voltage measurement method. So it is essential to create current which is corresponding or proportional to a definite voltage. Okay, so generation of current proportional to a voltage. So for this purpose, voltage to current converters are used. These are also known as V-to-A converters. It can simply change the carrier of electrical data from voltage to current. Yeah. So guess what is the carrier is? It's a energy flow. See, if you take any signal, current or voltage, there is energy flow. Okay, with respect to time. With respect to time, there is a flow of energy. Okay, it can be voltage or it can be current. Okay. So the carrier will be different. For example, if you take voltage, the carrier will be a EMF. If it is current, it is a flow of electrons. Okay, so based on that, there is a voltage or a current, carrier will differ. Okay, so voltage to current converter. So in basic terms, I'm not finding that open board. Just a second. Here we go. I don't know why this. Okay, so voltage to current converter. Yes, there we go. Okay, so when we confer about relation between voltage to current, it is obvious to mention Ohm's law. Yeah, basic Ohm's law for the voltage and current relation. So when you supply voltage as input to a circuit which comprises of a resistor, the proportional current will commence to flow through it. Yeah, correct. Obviously, no. Whenever we have a resistor, when we apply current, you know, when we apply voltage, sir, when we apply voltage across the resistor, there is a current flow through the resistor. It is clear that a resistor decides the current flow in a voltage source circuit, or it performs as a simple voltage to current converter, VTech converter for a linear circuit. Okay, so that means a simple resistor acts as a voltage to current converter because we are applying a voltage. It's converting into a proportional resistor. A proportional current depending on the value of the resistance. I is equal to V by R. Okay. The circuit diagram, okay, resistor which performs as a simple voltage to current converter is represented below. Okay, somewhere something like this, Yes, you can see the circuit diagram here. Yeah. Okay. So there is a voltage applied, there is a current, there is a resistor, and there is a current flow through the resistor. Okay, so it is a voltage source. Input stage is a voltage source, and there is a current flow through the resistance, and it acts as a voltage to current converter. In this diagram, electrical quantities such as voltage and current are represented through bars and loop respectively. Yeah. So voltage and current is represented using a loop. Practically, the output current of this converter depends directly on the voltage drop across the connected load in addition to the input voltage. Okay. That means in addition to the input voltage, if there is any load, there will be voltage drop across the load. Since VR becomes V in minus VL, this is the reason why this circuit is said to be an imperfect one or bad or passive version. Okay, that means whatever the voltage is applied, that will not appear across the load because there will be some losses. Okay? Yeah. So that means it's not a perfect voltage to current converter. Yeah. Using op amp, we can achieve what is known as a nearly perfect voltage to current converter. Op amp is implemented to simply convert the voltage signal to corresponding current. Because what happens with the advantage of op amp is that it provides isolation between the source and load. This we have discussed in many contexts. Whenever we say, especially as Arthur discussed, if it is a resistor, there will be losses in the resistor. Whereas if you separate this network using an op amp, this op amp provides a isolation. Okay, so whenever there is isolation, there is a less loading effect on the source. That is the advantage of using a what is known as op amps, operational amplifiers. Op amps are used for this purpose. Example IC LM741. Okay, this 741 has a different versions. UA 741. There are different versions of 741 IC. Okay, so one of the version is LM741. This op amp is designed to hold the precise amount of current by applying the voltage, which is essential to sustain that current throughout the circuit. Okay, so this will provide the current to the load. This op amp circuit will provide the current to the load. Yeah. Okay. So voltage to current converter, also known as Howland current converter, another name for the voltage to current converter. Here one end of the load is always grounded. Okay. Hold on a second. Somebody is knocking. Yes, second. Now I joined just now. Okay. Just a second, pause. People join little late, so okay, yes, here we go. Yeah, fine. So in this case, in this type of converter, there is a all end current converter. One end of the load is grounded. Okay, so the other end is connected to output of the op amp. So for the circuit analysis, we have to first determine the voltage. There is a Vin, and then the relationship or the connection between the input voltage and the load current to be that can be achieved. Okay, this if you observe the circuit, not able to somewhere here. Yeah. Okay. If you observe the circuit, guys, the voltage input voltage Vn is applied to non-inverting input terminal. Okay, so this load resistance is connected to ground. So so there is a flow of load current through the load resistance. R happens to be the input resistance through which current I1 is flowing. Okay, and there is a feedback resistance R, and there is a feedback resistance for the inverting input terminal also. Okay, and one more resistor is connected to ground. So this additional resistance, that the feedback network connected to the inverting input terminal helps in obtaining the gain of the op amp. Okay, so this will decide the gain of the op amp. So thereby, whatever the input voltage we apply, equivalent current will flow through the load resistance. That can be measured using a current sensing device. So that means we are converting a the input voltage to current. Thereby, voltage to current conversion is achieved. Yes, I need to adjust this. Somehow I have a problem with this. Simple. Okay. So what is output voltage? Output voltage is twice the input voltage, because the gain of the amplifier is there is a since input voltage is applied to this. Okay, observe this. Feedback voltage is given to both the non-inverting input terminal as a inverting input terminal. But in this case, since input voltage is applied to non-inverting input terminal, there is a both positive feedback as well as there is a negative feedback. Okay, so the value of these resistors are selected in such a way that output voltage is twice the voltage at this junction, not the input voltage. Observe this way. Output voltage is twice the voltage at this junction, V1. Okay, and Vd is the differential voltage. V2 is the voltage at the inverting input terminal, whereas V1 is the voltage at the non-inverting input terminal. Okay, so V1 may not be equal to V2 because we have a load resistance because of RL. V1 and V2 may not be equal, so Vd may not be equal to 0. If V1 is equal to V2, then we can say Vd may approach 0. It may not be the case always, depending on the load resistance. Okay. Yeah. So Kirchhoff law, Kirchhoff's current law at the node V1, at the node V1. Okay, I1 plus I2, the current I1 and I2. Okay, is equal to load current, of course, using KCL, Kirchhoff current law. I1 is given as V. This I1 is nothing but one side of the resistance R is V in, other side is V1. That is V in minus V1 divided by R for I1. Similarly for I2, another resistance R, that is V0. One end is V0, another end is V1. So V0 minus V1 divided by R. Why not it is V1 minus V0? It is not V1 minus V0 because V0 is greater than V1. Sorry, V1. Okay. So that is equal to IL. When it is simplified, we can write the expression for V1 as V1 is equal to V plus V0 minus IL divided by 2. Okay. So for a non-inverting amplifier, since as I said, the voltage is given to non-inverting input terminal, the gain is RF by R1, 1 plus RF by R1. So in this case, RF is the feedback resistance R, and input resistance is the R1. Okay, so here the resistors are RF is R1. The author, in this diagram, this is nothing but RF. This is RF. This is RF, and this is R1. So RF is equal to R, and that is equal to R1. Okay. So so since the resistors are equal, the gain of the amplifier is 2. So hence output voltage is twice the voltage at the non-inverting input terminal. That is V1. The voltage in the output will be when we write it with respect to V1, when we substitute this in the this expression, okay, V1, we can simplify this and we get the expression for IL, that is current flowing through the load, as V in by divided by R. Okay, where R is a fixed resistance, it's a constant resistance, fixed resistance, and then voltage is see, if R is fixed, load current is proportional to input voltage. IL is proportional to input voltage. So thus we can conclude from the above equation that the current IL is related to voltage Vin and the resistor R. As long as R is fixed, IL is proportional to input voltage. Okay. Applications of this current to voltage, voltage to current converter is Zener diode tester, low AC and DC voltmeters, testing LED, light emitting diodes, testing diodes, etc. This especially LED, we have to test using a very low current, DC current. Then we have to go for a voltage to current conversion. That's what it is. Okay. So wherever the current is the parameter to be applied, so we'll go for a voltage to current converter. Current to voltage converter. Okay. This for the current to voltage converter. So voltage is generated proportional to the given current. Okay. So the input source is a current which is applied. You can see the circuit diagram here. Let me resize this. Yeah. This, okay. Yes, here we go. So the input source is a current. It is applied to inverting. It is basically an inverting amplifier. Inverting amplifier. So the input current source is applied to the inverting input terminal. Non-inverting input terminal is grounded. So this junction acts as a virtual ground. This junction acts as a virtual ground. So how does this circuit works, guys? I don't know how to handle this. Yeah. Okay. So the circuit required if your measuring instrument is capable of only measuring the voltage, and you need to measure the current output. Okay. So depending on the requirement, if the measuring quantity is only the voltage, then we go for a current to voltage converter. Especially when you need to measure the current output, that is, we need to measure the current. Okay. But the measuring device supports only the voltage, so then we have to go for a current to voltage converter. Okay. So op-amp based current to voltage converter produces a output voltage. Again, op-amp is preferred, as I said, op-amp acts as in most of the cases it acts as a ideal device, and then op-amp, of course, instead of op-amp we could have used a BJT also, but op-amp is better compared to any other device because it is its characteristic is close to an ideal device. Op-amp based current voltage converter produces a output voltage when current is applied to its inverting input terminal. So circuit diagram of op-amp based current to voltage converter. Okay, op-amp open loop gain A of the op-amp is very large, so the input impedance of the op-amp is very high. Okay, so generally when we take the op-amp circuit as it is, open loop gain is very large, and hence its input impedance is also very large. It is in terms of mega ohms. So non-inverting input terminal of the op-amp is connected to ground. That means 0 volt is applied to the non-inverting. Okay, this is all basics we have discussed. Okay, so according to this virtual short concept is applicable. The voltage at the inverting input terminal of an op-amp will equal to the voltage at the non-inverting input terminal. Okay, so the reason for this is virtual ground. Okay, so because of the virtual ground, what happens is that the voltage at the inverting input terminal is same as the voltage at the non-inverting input terminal. So because of that, whatever the voltage we apply to the inverting input terminal, okay, will not appear across the inverting input terminal, but instead it will appear across the feedback terminal. Okay, not at the inverting input terminal because of what is known as a virtual ground. Virtual ground. So the output, so the voltage at the inverting input terminal of the op-amp will be 0 volts. It will always remain at 0 volt. Op-amp will make sure that inverting input terminal will remain at a 0 potential because of the virtual ground. As long as non-inverting input terminal is connected to ground. If it is connected to something else, let us say if it is connected to 1 volt, then the op-amp will try to retain inverting input terminal at 1 volt. That's all. Okay. Yes. Okay, so yes, okay, let's quickly go through these points. Nodal equation of the inverting input terminal. So according to the diagram, so the current is minus. Yes, so why this current is minus? Because this if you observe this, this current is zero. That is, current flowing into the inverting input terminal is almost zero. Okay, so the maximum feedback current should flow through this current device. Okay, and through RF. Okay, why the current is flowing in this direction is because we know that current direction is a convention. Okay, so if we say that this is the direction of the current, that means electrons are flowing in the opposite direction. Okay, so if the current direction is given like this, that means electrons flow will be in the opposite directions. Electrons will replace the holes. In that process, it will generate the current. Okay, yeah. So let's the current, say, with respect to this terminal, with respect to inverting input terminal, the current is negative. Okay, so in this equation, we get the current as negative. That is minus II, and potential at inverting input terminal is zero. Potential at this point is zero. So thereby, for an RF feedback resistance RF, one end of the RF is 0 volts, other end of the RF is V naught. Okay, so with respect to this terminal, inverting input terminal, it is V naught 0 minus V naught divided by RF. Okay, so when we rewrite for V naught, it is minus RT by is actually RF by II. Okay, RF by II. V is equal to IR. So thus the output voltage V naught of the current voltage converter is the negative product of the feedback resistance RF and the input current. Okay, so for a given current source whose current is II, voltage is V naught. V naught is proportional to I. There is current, as long as RF is a fixed quantity. As long as RF is a fixed quantity. So output voltage is proportional to the input current. So the output voltage V naught having negative sign, which indicates that the, let me resolve this. Yes, yeah, which indicates that that there exists 180-degree phase shift difference between the input current and the output voltage. Yeah, that we already know. We can rewrite the above equation as in terms of RF we can write like this. The above equation represents the ratio of the output voltage to the input current, and it is equal to the negative of the feedback resistance RF. The ratio of the output voltage V naught and the input current IA is called as a trans resistance. Okay, so the ratio of the output voltage and the input current is called as a trans resistance. So we know that the ratio of the output and input of a circuit is called as a gain. Okay, yes, because generally V naught by VA is called as a gain. Okay, yeah. So in this case, what we are writing is V naught divided by II. That is called as a trans resistance. Okay. So the gain of the current to voltage converter is its trans resistance and is equal to the feedback resistance RF. Okay. So ratio of output voltage to input current is trans resistance. Ratio of output voltage to input voltage is the gain of the amplifier. Somebody is on the line. Gain of the amplifier. Okay, here we go. Application I to V converter, digital to analog. Of course, digital to analog converter. We have a separate chapter. We'll discuss in little detail types of the digital to analog converter. So let us quickly go through this. Sensing current through photodetector. Okay, such as photocell, photodiodes, and photovoltaic cells. Okay, so photoconducting devices produces a current that is proportional to an incident energy to light. It can be used to detect the, okay, yes, in this case, in case of photocells, and especially in solar panels. Okay, so the as the sunlight falls on the panels, photocells, it will generate the current. Okay, so the output is always a current from the photocells. So to measure this current, of course, two methods. We can measure the current directly, or convert into voltage and then measure the voltage. And this voltage is proportional to the current output of the photocell, for example. Okay. So the photocells are photodiodes, which are sensitive to the light, or photovoltaic cells give. Okay. Let me, this is a problem, no? Yes, somewhere here. Okay. Now I need to select. Sorry, sorry. This one, I'm trying to adjust. Oh yeah, something else. But if I adjust this, I don't get the scribbling pen. Let me like this. Okay. So given output current that depends on the intensity of the light and depends on the load. Yeah, depends on the intensity of the light. Based on that, output current is generated. The current through these devices can be converted into voltage, I to V converter, and it can be used to measure the amount of light. So the voltage measured is proportional to the current, which is in turn proportional to the amount of light. So photocell is connected to the IV converter. This is the IV converter. So to this, a photocell device is connected. Um, the photocell is a passive transducer. It requires an external DC voltage. That means for the operation of the photocell, it requires a external DC voltage. Okay, so you can observe that the photocell is connected with a external. Let's see, just a second. I don't know where is that. Yeah, the photocell is connected with a external DC voltage. Okay. So the DC voltage can be eliminated if a photovoltaic cell is used instead of photocell. Okay, in this case, especially in case of solar cells, it is a photovoltaic cell. The photovoltaic cell does not require a battery. I mean, energy source, external energy source, whereas a photocell requires a separate DC source for its excitation. So photovoltaic cell is a semiconductor device that converts radiant energy to electrical power. Okay. So example of a photovoltaic cell used in space applications and in watches. That is charging, charging devices, solar charging devices. Okay. Yes. Okay. There's one more application. That is a digital to analog converter. So for this, okay, let me resize this. Yeah. So there is. Yeah. Okay. So digital to analog converter um, using current voltage converter. MC140, it is a DAC IC, digital to analog converter. It takes 8-bit digital input. Okay. Yes, for example, let's say in microcontroller, where is the application? Where is the question is where is the application of DAC? For example, let's say 8051 is generating the output 8051. In fact, we have one of the experiment in our microcontroller laboratory also using digital to analog converter. Okay, let us say on port 0, okay, we are generating the output. Let us say P0.02, P0.1, P0.02, sorry, P0.7, 8 bits. Okay, so it is generating 8-bit output. There is a 8051 microcontroller is generating 8-bit output. This 8-bit output from the microcontroller has to be converted into an analog signal. So we require what is known as a digital to analog converter, DAC, digital to analog converter. Okay, so this digital to analog converter, the output is a analog. That is it is in the form of a current. Output is a current. Okay, the output of this DAC is a current. This current should be converted into voltage because for the measurement purpose, for example, if you want to measure this voltage, unknown voltage, then we need voltmeters or multimeters. So for that, the signal should be in the form of a voltage. So convert current into voltage using a I to V converter, current to voltage converter. So one of the simple application of a current to voltage converter. Okay. So the input for this DAC is a 8-bit data, and the output is a current, and this current is being converted into the voltage, output voltage, and the output voltage of this I to V converter is proportional to the input current. So in this case, I naught. Okay, in this case, in this slide, we don't have a detailed discussion of a DAC, of course, because as I said, there's a separate chapter for that. We are going to discuss in detail. Okay, so for timing, you may need to assume this. Okay, so the current generated from the DAC at the pin number 4 can be represented as V reference V reference is applied at pin number 14. Pin number 14, we are applying V reference through a potentiometer so that we can control the current. Sorry, V reference voltage. So V reference voltage results in a current that can be controlled using a potentiometer. In turn, we are controlling the voltage. V ref divided by R1, that is the resistance is in series with the V reference source. Okay, into the digital input. The digital input as a weightage. What is the weightage is? MSB to LSB. LSB represents least significant bit and MSB represents most significant bit. Okay. So because of its weightage, if you can observe that D naught is the LSB, D naught is the LSB, and D7 is the MSB. D7 is the MSB. Okay. So based on this, we get a voltage. That means D naught has the least weightage. Okay, weight is 256. Again, the same reason, 2 power 8. Okay, 256, 256, and the LSB has the least weightage, D naught by 256, and guess it is something like this. If you see the bit-wise representation, something like this. Okay, let's say I'll write 8 bits. Okay, so let's say this is the LSB, and this is the MSB. Okay, so the weightage of this is very low. There is we can say weightage divided by 256. The next bit weightage is little high than LSB. So this weightage is out of 7. See, this is LSB out of 8, 2 power 8. Out of 7, 2 power 7. It is 128. 128. Okay. So this weightage of this bit divided by 128. Next bit, it is only 6, 2 power 6. What is 2 power 6 is? Forgot. 64. 2 power 6 is 64. So the weightage of this bit is this weightage divided by 2 power 6. That is 64. 64. Okay. So like this, we can write the equation for the weightage of each bit, and based on that, the current generated will depend. For example, one more example. Let us say, for example, let us say the data output. This digital data output is something like this. Let us say 0 0. This bit is also 0 0. Let's say this is also 0. Only LSB bit is 1. For example, LSB bit is 1. Okay. So what will be I naught? I naught is equal to Vref divided by R1, which is constant, into all these terms will become 0. All this term will become 0. It is only this bit is 1. 1 divided by 256. 1 divided by 256. Okay. So that will be the current. That means if higher weightage bits are high, output current is also high. If the number of bits I is lesser, the output current is also lesser. Okay. So that's the basic idea, which we'll discuss in detail little later. Okay. So the current I naught is the output current from the DAC device. It is in terms of milliamperes. R1 is the resistance. This one is, this is the resistance. This is the R1. R1, the resistance which is in series with the V reference source. V reference, for example, 2 volts. Okay. V reference is the reference voltage. It can vary from anywhere from 2 volts to 5 volts. So D0 to D7 is the 8-bit binary inputs. So that is I naught is 0 when all the inputs are 0 logic. When all are 0, I naught will be 0 because 0 into anything is 0. I naught is maximum when all the inputs are logic 1. When all the bits are logic 1, as we took in this example in the first case, if all the bits are logic 1, current will also be maximum. Okay. So the value of I naught is a function of the state of 8 binary bits. Correct. The current depends on the basically it depends on how many bits of the input data is 1. It depends on that. Variation of I naught can be converted into a desired output voltage range by selecting a proper value of RF. Okay. Yes, in this case, observe this. This is the author is talking about voltage to current voltage converter. Depending on the value of RF, we can select the range of the output voltage. We can range this. We can have lesser output voltage range, and we can have a larger output voltage range, depending on that. Please don't worry about other circuits. There is offset nulling, and there are lot many things. So which will not look into that. Like this offset nulling, all these are there. Okay, let's not bother about that. Okay, so the I naught can be depending on RF. So V naught is equal to I naught into RF. So for a given value of RF, for example, if you make it a potentiometer, output voltage can also be varied for a given value of I naught. For a fixed value of I naught, we can obtain a variable output voltage depending on the value of RF. So voltage to frequency converter. Okay, so quickly let us rush. I think I have only one or two more slides left. We'll quickly run through this and we'll finish it. No problem. Okay. So voltage to frequency and frequency to voltage converter is an oscillator whose frequency is linearly proportional to the control voltage. VFC. It's also called as a VFC. So its frequency is proportional to control voltage. VFC or counter ADC, electro-digital converter, is a monotonic and free of missing ports, integrates noise, and can consume very little power. Okay, so what is monotonic? Monotonic means it is an integrated device. It is a single device where it has a counter as well as ADC, analog-to-digital converter, and it is free of missing ports. That means it continuously monitors the input voltage. Accordingly, it will generate the output frequency. Okay, it integrates noise and can consume very little power because it is available in the form of IC. As long as the circuits are available in the form of IC, the power consumption is reduced rather than a circuit on a breadboard. So rather than connecting on breadboard, IC form is always a advantageous. It is also very useful for telemetry applications since the VFC, voltage to frequency converter, which is small, cheap and low powered devices, can be mounted on a experimental subject, like for example a patient or a wild animal, artillery shell, etc., and communicate with the counter by telemetry link as shown below. Okay, let's observe this circuit diagram. So we have an analog input voltage to frequency converter, and it generates a signal with a particular frequency, and we use a what is known as a frequency counter. Okay, guys, using this frequency counter, we are going to measure the frequency. Okay, so connection need not be direct. Circuit. Okay, connection need not be direct means it can be using Wi-Fi also. I mean wireless method. Connection need not be a wired method. It can be wireless method also. That's also possible. Circuit is ideal for telemetry. Okay, so what is this frequency counter? Let us quickly understand that. Frequency counter means, okay, so this is a normal counter, just like just like the flip flops are a normal. We have come across counters, registers and counters in our ADC course. It is normal to that. This counter will count the frequency of the input. Frequency means, let us say, for example, let us understand with respect to a DC source. I'm sorry, not DC, sorry, for square pulse. Okay, so this counter is applied with the input voltage. Let us say, for example, it's a square pulse. So on every rising edge or on every falling edge, okay, the counter increments. So let us say, for example, falling edge counter. So the counter increments as falling edge signals are applied. As signals are continuously applied. Okay. So as the frequency increases, let's see, this counter measurement is such that it measures with respect to second. There is number of signals measured with respect to second. Okay. Yes, for example, I'll take simple quick example. Let us say we are applying 10 signals or clock pulses per second. Okay. So what should be the counter indication? It should be 10. If it is 100, it should be 100. If it is 1000, that means higher the frequency of the signal, the counter indicates a larger value. This counter is calibrated to indicate the frequency directly. This we find in our digital oscilloscope also. Okay, of course, in our laboratory we don't have. I think we have 2 digital oscilloscope, not in ADC lab, but in other labs. Okay, so in those oscilloscope, this ADC part is inbuilt. Okay, that oscilloscope has one inbuilt counter which indicates the frequency directly in terms of megahertz or gigahertz directly. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so the counter. Okay, the frequency counter helps in measuring the frequency of the signal, which is generated by the voltage to frequency converter. Okay, so thereby we are varying the frequency of the output of this VFC converter So thereby we can measure the frequency of the signal. It is also helpful in instrumentation control, digital and communication systems, temperature sensing, control, transducer encoding, A to D converter. Okay, something like this. This is an example, simple example of A to D converter. Okay, so let's say digital panel meters. This is an example, guys. This is a digital panel meter. Okay, it indicates the output in terms of digital. For example, let's say 1000 or 10 megahertz. Okay, so the input is an analog signal, output is a digital measure indicating device. There's nothing but a counter. There's nothing but a counter application. Microprocessor data acquisition, PLL recording, etc. Okay. So in all these applications, we make use of voltage to frequency conversion. Okay. So the devices are TC9400, 9401. Last class we saw this. We saw the internal structure also. It's made of comparators. It is made of op amps. It is made of other devices. The circuit 9400. Okay, so the internal structure is same. It only varies in terms of its characteristics, in terms of frequency characteristics. Are low cost voltage to frequency converters utilizing low power CMOS technology. Okay, what is low power CMOS technology? Using that I discussed in the last class. I don't know whether I discussed in NPMC course or in your course. I think last class only, in CMOS only. What is CMOS? Means it is nothing but combination of both PMOS as well as NMOS. PMOS and NMOS. CMOS stands for complementary metal oxide semiconductor devices. And this is a technology. This in the last class, I think I was talking about technology. Okay, only 2 minutes. I'll take only. Okay, so what are the various technologies we discussed with TTL, DTL logic, ECL logic, emitter coupled logic. Okay, there are many logic. One of the popular logic is known as, I forgot to mention this, CMOS logic, complementary metal oxide semiconductor logic. This is used in most of the IC manufacturing industries, IC devices. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is just for your information. So the converters accept variable analog input signal and generate a output pulse prime whose frequency is linearly proportional to the input voltage. Okay, then see, the input is also analog, output is also analog. Then what's the difference? Okay, input is a analog signal, output is a frequency. Output is again a voltage or variable voltage, and this voltage may not be proportional to input voltage in terms of amplitude, but its frequency can be varied. So ultimately, see, for example, in this kind of application, let's observe this kind of application. Okay, so what is required is, we require a voltage signal which has to be applied to the counter to measure the parameter of the voltage, for example, in terms of frequency. Okay, and this meter will accept only the the varying signal with a particular frequency. So for such case, we go for a voltage to frequency converter. Okay, so the devices can also be used as a highly accurate frequency to voltage converters, accepting virtually any input frequency waveform and providing a linearly proportional voltage output. Okay, so the means same circuits can also be used as a frequency to voltage converters. So the output frequency effort is related to the analog input voltage. This effort we had seen in our last class, TC9400. It has two outputs. One is F0 and the other output is F0/2. That is variable frequency. Input frequency is fixed. Input voltage has a fixed frequency. Output frequency gives a variable frequency. By transfer equation, frequency output Vin by Rin into 1 by Vref into Cref. Cref we saw, last class we saw that the capacitor connected to Cint. In that case, I think it was called as a Cint. It was called as a Cint. Frequency to voltage converter. Okay, this is the voltage to frequency converter. So in a frequency to voltage converter, output voltage is proportional to Vref, Cref, Rint and Fin. That is input voltage frequency. So same circuits, there is same ICs 9400, 9401, 9402 can be used as a frequency to voltage converter as well as voltage to frequency converter. I think that's the end of this. Okay, okay. Because this is this is a limited discussion on current to voltage, voltage to current converter, voltage to frequency, and frequency to voltage converter. Okay, because this was the result after the discussion with the Prem Kumar sir, because he said that we have only the basics. The syllabus says only the basics of these converters. So thereby we decided not to include that 9400 all those ICs, because it's taken from the data sheet. Okay, so if you Google it, you'll get the complete data sheet. In the textbook also we have the same data sheet copy printed in the textbook. Okay, fine. Okay, yes, with this the third unit is complete. I'll share this PPT with you guys. In the next class, we'll start with the signal processing circuits. And for the test, it is from a DC voltage regulator of the second unit and up to the comparators and converters. Third unit for the internals. Because I have to rush, because I want to finish of this, because for the internals, we are including this concept also, voltage to frequency and frequency to voltage converters. Okay. Okay, it's fine. That's it for today's class. Thanks for joining. See you soon. Take care. Bye.